My name is Kyle Adenuju, and I bring you the message of revolution to change the thinking of the black man. Today we are talking about the revolution of keeping to time. How many of you have heard the phrase African time? African time is when someone says that they will arrive at 2 p.m. and they arrive at 3 p.m. Is that good? It is one of the reasons why the black man is behind. I checked some of the definitions of African time, and one of the places I consulted was the Urban Dictionary. And this is what it says about African time. It says, African time is when one says they will arrive at a certain time, but arrive much later. If you check Wikipedia, it defines African time as that perceived cultural tendency in parts of Africa and the Caribbean toward a more relaxed attitude to time, sometimes used in a pejorative sense about tardiness in appointments, meetings, and events. So, for example, if you are going for a wedding ceremony, the host will tell you no African time because there is an assumption that everyone coming there will come late. So they put a warning in the invitation telling you that there will be no African time. There is an Ivorian experience that I would like to share with you. But before I share that, I'm going to share the words of an author, a Ghanaian author, about African time. And he says, one of the main reasons for continuing underdevelopment of our country is our nonchalant attitude to time and the need for punctuality in all aspects of life. Not only in business, but in all aspects of life. The problem of punctuality has become so endemic that lateness to any function is accepted and explained off as African time. Is endemic. I think that it is even demonic, satanic. Because if you don't tell the black man how satanic it is, they will not accept. It will not sink in. If you keep making this thing look like a good idea for us to keep to time, people think that you're just passing a very small message. But we need to let people know that much more demonic than all the prayers they are praying in churches and mosques is the inability of the black man to keep to time. Do you know what happened? In 2007, there's an Ivorian experience. In October 2007, an Ivorian campaign against African time, backed by President Laurent Gbagbo, received international media attention when an event called Punctuality Night was held in Abidjan to recognize business people and government workers for regularly being on time. The slogan of the campaign is African time is killing Africa. Let's fight it. The organizers hope to heighten awareness of how missed appointments, meetings, or even the late bosses cut productivity in a region where languid tardiness is the norm. It was remarked that this year's winner, the legal advisor, Nasise Aka, who received $60,000 in recognition of his punctuality, is so unusual. He's so unusually good at being punctual. I mean that officer called Nasise Aka. They said he's so unusually good at being punctual that his colleagues call him Mr. White Man's Time. Can you imagine that? Because he is so good and he is so punctual, his colleagues derided him and they call him Mr. White Man's Time. No wonder Africa is underdeveloped. No wonder the black man is a laughing stock to the rest of the world. This is a very serious matter. It is not a laughing matter. It is a spiritual matter. It is an intellectual matter. It is a political matter. And it shouldn't be taken lightly. It's a disease. It is demonic. Africa needs deliverance from it. How can you call somebody with Mr. White Man's time? Some Western tourists in the Caribbean become infuriated if locals don't respond as promptly, as efficiently to every request they make. So people come here for tourism, they're in a hotel, you say they are going to get a particular service at a particular time, then they don't get it. They get frustrated, but they cannot voice it out. They cannot tell you that this is a black man's problem because they don't want to be stoned to death. They don't want to be armed in a country where they have come for tourism. So please, Africans, we need to address this as a spiritual problem. So don't blame your leaders. Don't blame your political leaders, because it is your own cultural practice that empowers them. I'm going to give you 2 examples. Key areas where Africa is lacking behind. In Nigeria, where I am, you go to court and people tell you that the court is not sitting. Dates have been fixed. Parties have been notified that the court will be sitting at a particular time. Parties travel across countries, across states to attend court hearings, and they are being told that the court is not sitting on the day that the court is supposed to sit. No prior information. That is in the justice system. The second example I'm going to cite is in our fiscal planning and budget. We have noticed that in some countries, budgets are not passed and approved at the right time. Some of them passed in the middle of the year. I read this morning that the Bureau of Public Procurement in Nigeria is yet to submit the procurement audit reports for 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019. And we are in 2020, November. So, when you think about all of these things, it is not a time for us to complain. It is a time for us to look inward. All these people operate with the assurance that the country that they are responsible for, even the people don't keep to time. So they know nothing can happen. You go to churches or you go to events where people are supposed to be speaking. They tell you, I'm going to be speaking for 30 minutes. It ends up lasting for 1 hour. People are virtually clapping and telling the speaker to leave the stage. It is not a good attitude. And we must fight it. Whether it is something ingrained in our DNA that we must resist and say, we must keep the time. Elections are postponed and nothing happens. Tardiness to appointments and timing. You can blame the government all you like. But who are the people that work in these government agencies? They are your aunties, they are your uncles, they are your friends, they are your wives and your husbands. They are not demons from hell. What must I do? What must I do? Let us talk about way forward. Number one thing you should do in winning the war against African time is that when you say the time, do everything within your power to keep to it. When you give people time, do everything within your power to ensure that you keep to it. How do you keep to it? Study the flow of traffic in your city. You have an appointment with somebody, study the flow of traffic. Number 2, use Google Map and ensure that for you to arrive at where you're going to, you are able to arrive on time. If you're not able to arrive on time, you have a duty to call the person and say, sorry, I am running late, in order to manage people's expectation. We must be known for excellence as a black race. Number 2, you must realize that it is more dignifying to wait than to arrive hurriedly. You know, in Africa, we have this warped mentality that people need to be sitting down, waiting for you to arrive. That it is more dignifying to arrive when people are sitting down. Whether you go for social events, weddings, or any kind of event, people believe, an average African man believes that it is good to arrive when people are seated. That is a backward mentality. It is excellence for you to sit at the time appointed. It is dignifying for you to wait at the time fixed. It is better to wait and be looking at how people are setting up the microphone. In Africa, they tell you that they want to start an event by 9 o'clock. By 9:30, they are still setting up. African time. Look at it. Check your phone. Google it. The entire world is laughing at you. African time is an indictment on the race. It is more dignifying to wait than to arrive already. If you wait, your life will be better. Number 3, to-dos. You must stop honoring and respecting people who don't keep to time. This is protests. I know some of you would like to protest against your government, but the protest must start amongst your family and friends. You must start it. Charity begins at home. You must stop honoring and respecting people who don't keep to time, no matter how old they are or highly placed. And I have an African proverb for you. This is my proverb I am giving you as black men. So you can quote it as an African proverb. And this is what it says. Anyone who lacks respect for time does not deserve respect, no matter how old or highly placed. African proverb by Kayode Adeliji. So write this down. Anyone who lacks respect for time does not deserve respect, no matter how highly placed or how old he or she is. And watch out for those who promise to speak for 2 minutes and end up speaking for 10 minutes. What are the benefits of keeping to time? Number 1, our lives will be less stressful. If we keep to time, our life will be less stressful. Because everyone's expectation will be well managed. Number 2, if we keep to time, the world will take us more seriously. The developed world will take us more seriously. This joke of African time on the internet that's already indicting all of us as a race should be scrapped from the internet. And it's not going to be scrapped by a click of a button, by those who are hosting those websites and putting African time. It is going to be scrapped and deleted by our change in attitude and thinking. Number 3, our lives will be more predictable, and it will be easier for us to plan around it. Our future can be planned. Number 4, we will be more prosperous as a race, as a nation. And in conclusion, all of you must give an orientation to your children about this timing. Children must realize that time is a universal currency and that we must hold on to it for Africa to change in the next 20 years. My name is Kyle Adeniji. I bring you the message of revolution to change the thinking of the black man. Thank you.